Hi, my name is Ashley Moore, and today we will be talking about sensory perception. Like other parts of the nervous system, the sensory portion transmits information by way of electrochemical signals. The sensory portion of a vertebrate's nervous system includes sensory neurons that become excited in the presence of specific stimuli. Detection of stimuli begins with excitation of sensory receptors. We classify sensory receptors by the type of stimuli they respond to. The 5 types of stimuli are mechanoreceptors, thermoreceptors, chemoreceptors, photoreceptors, and pain receptors. Mechanoreceptors respond to mechanical energy. They detect shifts in the body's acceleration. They detect stretching of a muscle. Mechanoreceptors also detect pressure waves. A type of pressure wave is a sound, so auditory receptors are a type of mechanoreceptors. Thermoreceptors. Thermoreceptors respond to a specific temperature or to temperature changes. One way thermoreceptors can help predatory animals find their warm-bodied prey. Chemoreceptors. Chemoreceptors detect specific molecules in an environment. Chemoreceptors function as taste and smell. Chemoreceptors can also monitor internal environments. An example of this is chemoreceptors in arteries monitor the level of CO2 in your blood. Photoreceptors. Photoreceptors detect light energy. Humans only respond to visible light. Pain receptors. Pain receptors detect tissue damage. Pain receptors are also called nociceptors. Pain receptors have a protective function that are often involved in reflexes that minimize further harm. Growing up, we were taught that we have 5 senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. Well, now we know that they have more advanced names: mechanoreceptors, chemoreceptors, photoreceptors, pain receptors, and thermoreceptors. The processing of sensory receptions gives rise to sensation, the awareness of the stimuli. 2 types of sensations are somatic sensations and visceral sensations. Somatic sensations are located in the skin, muscle, tendons, and joints. These are easily localized to specific parts of the body. Visceral sensations arise from excitation of neurons in the walls of soft internal organs. These are difficult to pinpoint. It is easy to tell where someone is touching you. However, when you feel nauseous, it is hard to tell exactly where that is coming from. Pain is the perception of tissue injury. Somatic pain begins with signals from pain receptors in the skin, skeletal muscle, tendons, and joints. Visceral pain is associated with organs inside the body's cavity. When visceral pain occurs, it occurs as a response to a muscle spasm or inadequate blood flow to the organs or other abnormal conditions. Histamines are released when a body cell signals that it is injured or hurt. Pain-relieving drugs interfere with pain receptors. The sense of smell is also known as olfaction. Humans have hundreds of types of chemoreceptive sensory neurons, each ending with a specific response to one type of odorant molecule. On average, humans can remember and tell between over 10,000 types of smells. When you recognize an odor, you are responding to a specific mix of odorant molecules. Taste receptors are chemoreceptors that detect chemicals dissolved in fluid. In humans, our taste receptors are in our taste buds, which line our mouth and tongue. In humans, a perceived taste arises from a combination of signals produced by different tastes and different types of taste receptors. We have receptors that respond to sweetness, sourness, and bitterness. Each taste receptor is the most sensitive to one of the 6 types of primary taste. Now that we've gotten the scientific terms out of the way, I would like to talk about how I would use this in my major. My major is early child/elementary education. To teach about sensory perception, I would use this to talk about the five senses. Instead of talking about mechanoreceptors, chemoreceptors, photoreceptors, pain receptors, and thermoreceptors, I would just simply talk about sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. And I would use different activities for each to show how this could help in learning. Once children get older, they will need to know about mechanoreceptors, photoreceptors, and so on and so on. But to begin with, you do need to give them a good foundation of just the five senses in simpler terms: hearing, sight, smell, touch, taste. Once they get into high school, it'll be a lot easier for them to understand these terms if they have a good foundation. One activity that we could do to teach about the five senses is to have them write a poem about anything they want. But in this poem, they have to include the five senses. They have to tell about sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. Another activity that would ensure that the kids learn about all five senses and that they put those senses to work would be for the teacher to put something that makes noise or something in a box that the kids couldn't see, and then the kids have to use their senses to figure out what is in the box. On the same note as something in the box that is a mystery that they have to use their senses for, another thing you could do is put something in a bag and make them feel to see what it is. This would cause them to use their sense of touch. One fun activity that you could do with your students is to show them optical illusions and try to make them figure out how they really work. And then you can have students try to come up with optical illusions of their own. One activity that would give them a sense of how people that are blind live and read on a daily basis is to find something that is written in Braille, and then the kids have to figure out how to read it. Of course, you would have a guide of how to do it, but Braille is really hard for people that have their sight, and it's hard to understand how it works. And this would be a great activity to give them a perspective of what it is like to be blind. One cool activity with taste you could do is to have the students blindfold, and then you place fruits, vegetables, chips, breads, desserts, whatever in front of them, and they have to taste it, and they have to see if they can figure out what it is. This would be a cute way to introduce new foods to the kids and just see what they know. On that same note, you could do the same thing with smells. Place candles, cinnamon sticks, herbs, whatever. Of course, they would have to know what they are to begin with, so you would have to do a mini lesson of different things, but that would be a good way to see their sense of smell. Another really cool activity that would also get the children outside is to take a sound hike. Go outside on the playground or outside on the front lawn and simply take the children and have them find sounds and identify the sounds that they hear. With touch, you can make a palette of things like fresh grass, Play-Doh, sand, anything like that, and then have the kids take their shoes off. Then they can walk over these things and they can see how each thing feels to their bare feet. This would be a really cool activity to do with the younger kids, kindergarten first, or you could take them outside and just let them walk in the barefoot in the grass. Either way, this is a really cool activity that would get the kids outside or get the kids to feel different things that they might not get to feel normally. One way to do sense of sound is to give one child a whistle. Then you have that child go hide. Then the other students have to find the child that's blowing the whistle and use their sense of sound to find out where they are. One game you could play that would really use a child's senses is a game that we all love to play during the summer in a pool, Marco Polo. But you could easily play this in your classroom. You could have one child be Marco, and then the other children be Polo, and the child that is Marco has to close their eyes and try to listen to the children and find out where they are. This would be a really fun game to either play inside the classroom or outside on the playground. I don't think you could go wrong with this game. We, as humans, use our senses every day. We use them to even get up in the morning because we have to hear our alarm clock. We use them to get dressed. We use them to eat lunch, breakfast, supper, snacks. We use our nose to smell when food's getting too burned, which most of the time is what I use it for. We use our hearing to hear people at work, to hear horns. We use our sight to walk around every day. Our senses help us get through our lives.